About 2,000 years ago, in the time...
Hello everyone and welcome back to Animation Pilgrimage, the show where Sean and I watch every single theatrically released animated film in chronological order. I'm Tennille.
And I'm Sean. And today we are talking about the last 1968 film that we're talking about. There were a lot. And this
We can
is...
finally move on to 1969.
Yes.
Nice.
Nice.
Had to get that in there.
Mm-hmm. And the movie that we're talking about today is Asterix and Cleopatra. Asterix and Cleopatra. Here's the plot summary. Cleopatra wants to show Caesar up by building an amazing temple or something. So her builder goes and gets Asterix and...
Well, he wants the druid get a fix.
He wants the druid get a fix because he's got his super potion of superness to help him build the thing really fast.
Yeah.
A rival man...
What?
A rival man, dude, builder...
What are you talking about?
wants to sabotage the project.
Oh, a rival.
Yes?
I thought you said a rival. I'm like, a rival of what?
No, a rival
Gotcha.
guy wants to sabotage the project. Hijinks ensue.
Yeah.
That's the plot.
Asterix, Obelisk.
Beats up a bunch of
Well,
Romans.
Asterix, Obelisk, and Getafix are all in Egypt to help build this thing. And yeah, there's just hijinks.
Hijinks.
And you know exactly how this is gonna end. Like...
It ends by them fighting a group of Romans. Because of course it is.
Yeah. Like, that's it.
That's all. That's the movie.
That's the movie. And... Yep.
Okay, so this is the second Asterix film we've watched. This one was actually worked on by the creators of the original comic. So
Yes, it was.
that's something. I think this movie is worse
I do too.
for multiple reasons.
I think the plot is worse. Like, it's just weaker.
It's a weaker plot. You have to stretch, like, your suspension of disbelief has to stretch even farther in this. Just like, oh, sure, okay, I guess we're going...
And the jokes don't make up for the lack of logic going on.
There are very racist stereotypes of black people as the only actual slaves in this movie. Which is not funny.
Nope.
It's like, at the end of the movie, they're going back home, and they're eating a feast, and it said everyone was eating, and everyone was happy. Except everyone was not eating. There was very clearly a black slave man fanning them. He was not eating. And he certainly had a smile on his face, but I doubt he was happy. Cleopatra is an obnoxious, annoying woman character. That does
And
not...
very, very, like...
Just like...
super whitewashed, considering all the other Egyptians are, like, tan, and she's white.
It's like...
So that's uncool.
This is not great. There is certainly more animation than the last movie, but it's not better.
No, it's about on par, if not worse.
They move a lot more, but it's honestly more of a detriment than an enhancement.
Right, because, like, I
Now
don't know.
they're
There
flailing
was this-
wildly as compared to just action happens off screen.
Right. There were these, like in the first film, they would often repeat animation, and one of the animations they would show off over and over and over again is just an animation of Obelisk and, Obelisk and
Asterisk?
Asterix, like, walking.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that had a really nice, like, roundness and solidity
It had a good feel to it.
Yeah, and, like, even though they showed that animation a lot, it was a nice bit of animation. This movie, I want to say, is a step down in terms of the quality. Like, there's more of it, but the quality is just, like,
Overall,
slightly less.
worse. Yeah.
Uh-huh. The shot composition is slightly better, so, like, all in all, it's probably about par.
But, like, I don't think the jokes are as good. The general setup is worse. It's just, like, overall, I think the first movie, while a bit more boring, works better as a film.
I'd be more likely to want to watch that one again than this one.
And this is kind of strange, because I had read a lot of the comments on the last Asterix review, and a lot of people are like, oh, this is the worst one. Just wait until the next one. It gets better. And I don't think I can agree with that.
Well, Asterix, Obelisk, and Get-A-Fix are so inconsequential, and they bring the dog along, too, and I don't remember what the dog's name is.
Something X.
Thanks. I think it's literally like dog tricks.
Dogatix?
Dog tricks.
Dogomatics?
Yeah.
Something about dog X.
Yeah.
Dogmatics.
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 Yeah.
Like, there's nothing.
There's nothing.
Oh, there's also pirates in this movie for no reason. And, like, we've seen the 3 jokes that they can do with these characters.
Mm-hmm. And it's just these 3 jokes over and over again.
The jokes are, they're super strong and beat the crap out of anyone, which isn't even really a joke.
Right.
It's just a thing that they do every time any conflict comes up.
Yeah. So there's no tension at all.
No.
Which, I mean, there doesn't have to be. This is supposed to be more of a comedy.
But then, like, there's no jokes to go with it.
You're right. And obviously comedy is a bit more subjective. But, like, I didn't find anything funny in this movie. And there was a couple of things I thought were mildly humorous in the first one.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was just because, like, I'm seeing these jokes again that I'm like, all right, yeah, I saw these jokes before, or if they're just worse in this movie.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell, but just in relation to the past few movies, this definitely pales in comparison.
And that's not to say that, like, oh man, now I just hate Asterix. Like, I still hope that, because apparently there's even more of these to come. It's like, I hope they get better. I would like to see a version of this that I liked, but, like, if this is what it has, if this is all that it has to offer.
If this is the best that Asterix can offer.
Well, not even the best. Just, like, if this is what is on par for what Asterix has to offer, then I might have a bad time with these.
I'm going to be disappointed every time it comes up.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be.
No.
Because if there's a lot of these, I
don't want to subject myself to that.
Bored to tears every time.
Well, or give a bad review every time because it's obviously something that we're just not going to like.
Yeah, it's not up our wheelhouse. It's like, comparing this, I was thinking about this today, and it's like, comparing this to an equivocal movie that we have seen up to this point, just from, like, the general concept of a fairly basic cartoon character in a movie.
He's like Popeye.
It's like he's like Popeye, or honestly, I was also thinking of just like the Flintstones or even Yogi Bear. While those are TV show characters compared to a comic book character, this still feels very on par with like that type of comedy.
Well, but the problem with it is the lack of tension. Like,
both of those had tension.
Yeah,
even though they were
there are
comedies.
times when, like Yogi Bear and Flintstones characters tend to fail a lot before they finally get it right.
But I'm just specifically talking about the movies that we've seen. So
right.
The Man Called Flintstone and Hey There, It's Yogi Bear, the movie, both of those still had tension, and they had jokes that were mildly amusing. And I would honestly rather watch either of those over this again.
Yeah.
It might just be because I'm more likely to like their comedy, but I feel like it's very equivocal comedy, right?
I mean, I don't know, because it's going to be more now. In this next year in '69, we do have a Peanuts movie.
Okay.
And that's another comic book character.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see how that plays out. However, they're still like very different comics. You got to remember that like the structure of a comic, there's not going like the problem I have with the tension not being there is because it's a comic. And like even though it's telling a story, like it's
the tension of a comic book is a lot like the pacing is a lot different than it is on screen.
Yeah, and you're telling mini stories in each panel and stuff. And so like introducing conflict to it wouldn't make sense in the time period that this came out, because it's like, if it's a Sunday comic strip, you're going to see one comic panel, and you don't want to end a comic panel on a Sunday strip with like a downside.
But that's what that's something that people were correcting us on in the comments of the last video, is this wasn't a Sunday comic. It was just a single comic book. And it was just released all together. So the first movie was just an adaptation of the first book, and this is an adaptation of the Asterix and Cleopatra book. Like, this is the whole thing.
That's so strange to me. I don't understand the storytelling method then.
Yeah, it just feels like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then it was over. There's no mounting tension. They just kind of go from scene to scene telling quote-unquote jokes, and then it's over.
And it's not that conflict isn't introduced, it's just that our characters are so overpowered.
Yeah,
and so in control of the situation all the time. Like they don't even tease the fact that they might be a little concerned about what's going on. They're just like, oh, okay, well, let's take care of it then.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
I guess that might be part of it. I think you found it. You found what my personal issue with this is. We're not laughing at the main character. We're laughing with the main character at other characters.
And I don't really like that kind of humor.
No, I don't like laughing at people. Unless we're laughing at everyone involved.
Right.
Like, in the Flintstones movie, we're constantly laughing at Fred and the hijinks and things that he gets into, along with the other characters and the villains and stuff. In this movie, you're never supposed to laugh at Asterix and Get a Fix, and, I mean, kind of Obelix, but you're not supposed to laugh at them. You're supposed to laugh at all the other people around them who are much stupider and weaker.
Yeah.
And that's where the comedy comes.
And that's where it, like, makes us not feel good.
And Cleopatra,
like,
who is a female and is therefore
funny
to laugh at because she's hysterical and
Yeah, it's like Asterix and Getafix and Obelisk are supposed to be the relatable heroes that, like, oh, look, these are the guys we were supposed to identify with, and everybody else is just kind of like, oh, look how weird and stupid and not strong they are.
They're a punching bag.
Yeah, and it's
Both
just like...
physically and verbally.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I don't like a lot of their comedy. Mm-hmm. You found it. Holy cow.
We talked it out.
I love this. I love when this can happen. It's like, why don't I like this?
Right.
It's like, I can find like the
nitpicks,
but like there's some
something deeper.
There's
that
something
I just
deeper
don't
that
like.
I need to talk to someone to figure it out why I don't like it. And I think you helped me figure out why I don't like it. Or I guess, is it we or is it just me? Or
It's we. It's we.
It's like the form of comedy here.
Because, I mean, it's something that honestly, while the movie was going on, like, was in the back of my mind. It's just like, I kind of don't like Asterix and Obelisk and
oh, yeah, no. It's like...
Because they're just punching everybody and, like they solve all their problems through violence and they're so overconfident that, like,
they're just mocking everybody else all the time.
I can't relate to anything that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, honestly, that's about it.
Yeah. Sorry, this one's such a downer.
Yeah.
But hey, we talked about our problems.
We worked through it.
We worked through it.
So, next time... we're starting 69 off right.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know if right is the correct term. But for the year 1969, we are starting with a rated R film.
Yep.
Because it's one step off from being a porno.
Yep.
Because there is explicit sexual content in the movie 1001 Nights, or 1001 Arabian Nights. I don't know. It's the Japanese porno version of the Arabian Nights.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just going to let you know now, if you are not okay with that, don't watch next episode.
Yeah.
We're going to say more warnings when that video comes out, but just letting you know.
And we haven't watched the movie yet, so we don't know how explicit it is, but I think we saw a trailer.
I watched a trailer, and there's just like boobs everywhere.
This is definitely questionable content.
Oh yeah, there's just nudity and boobs everywhere, and that's just the trailer.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, who knows how that's gonna go? But again, we watch every theatrically released film, so...
The next decade is just gonna be like this, guys.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more boobs.
Well, just rated R content in general. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be a lot of it, so
we'll warn you.
Yeah.
We'll warn you ahead of time.
We'll warn you ahead of time, but just be prepared, because it is coming.
All right. See you guys then.